Hi everybody, we're back with the clothing spreadsheet to take a look at the next feature that comes up in Module 5, which is creating a pivot table. So far you've created a table, you've made some changes to it, and now we're going to make a pivot table, which is a different feature. So it's located in the same spot. Again, you want to make sure that you're just back with a regular spreadsheet, no table functionality or anything like that. I'm going to click on the Insert tab. And I'm going to go this time not to table, not to recommended pivot table if you have that one, but just to pivot table. So pivot tables are yet another way of viewing data on a regular spreadsheet. Just gives you more functionality. You can view things differently. It's more powerful. Pivot tables are very popular in business. So I'm going to, it selected the correct range. If it hadn't, I can always go out and select it for the pivot table feature, but it picked it up. I can either put it on an existing worksheet or have it create a new worksheet. For pivot tables, a new worksheet is usually recommended. Then I'm just going to click OK. So you will get a brand new spreadsheet that will probably look quite peculiar to you. So here you'll see it says pivot table. And then on the right hand side, you're going to have this box here that says pivot table fields. But if you look, you should recognize date, purchaser, category, description, quantity, and price. That came from our clothing spreadsheet. A couple of things to note about the pivot table. If your selection or mouse pointer is not on this area called pivot table, all of your features disappear. So make sure that you click directly on the work area for the pivot table. So how the pivot table works, they're pretty interesting, is that you can drag and drop fields and build your own spreadsheet. So for instance, let's say we want to see the category. I'm going to drag that to rows. That will automatically become a row in the pivot table work area. I'm going to grab the quantity and place it under values. So typically things with numbers go under values, and things that are not numbers go under rows and sometimes columns. And then you can choose to filter things out. So far I've got a category for rows, some of the quantity, so that's giving me my dress, my pants, my shirts, a little similar to subtotal. And maybe I'm going to use the date as a filter for this. So I'm going to drag date down to filter. Right now it's showing me all dates, but if I wanted to filter out one date, I can do that with the pivot table. So I'm going to select February 2nd, click OK, and that is what was sold on February 2nd. Now, if I don't want to see the sum of the quantity, but I'd rather see the price, I can remove the check mark next to quantity. That disappears. And I'm going to pull the price down to where it says values. So now I'm seeing for February 2nd, dresses, pants, shirts, the sum of the price that was sold on that day. If I prefer, I can select all, click OK. It will give me all of the totals for all dates, or I can go back and click the filter, and maybe I just want to choose 2 dates. I can use this option at the bottom, select multiple items, and I'm going to display February 1st and February 4th by removing the check marks next to February 2nd and 3rd. Click OK, and now I'm looking at filtered dates for the sum of the price of the dresses, pants, and shirts. Now I realize by looking at that, that doesn't tell me enough. So I want to know the purchaser of those items. So I'm going to come back over here to pivot table fields, and I'm going to grab purchaser, and I'm going to drag it down underneath category. And now I've got a much better picture of what's going on. So I've got my dresses, who I purchased them from, my pants, who I purchased them from, and my shirts, and who I purchased them from, with the prices attached to that, with all dates showing. Again, if I wanted to find a particular date, I could come back to the date filter and remove the check marks and just see a couple of dates. So here's my dates filtered with this particular view. Now what I'd like to do is change the order of how these are displayed. So I'm going to grab the dresses. So I'm going to grab the dresses and I'm going to put them in a different order. So see how my mouse pointer is now that 4-headed arrow? I need that shape, and I'm going to click on the cell that has the dresses, and I'm actually going to move it to the middle. Let's try one more time. There we go. So now I've got pants, dresses, and shirts. So if you want to sort something so it's not alphabetically sorted, then you have to grab the fields yourself and actually drag them down. So if I wanted shirts, I'm going to do that one more time because this particular feature comes up in your SAM exercise that you will have to do. So I'm going to grab the shirts with that 4-headed arrow, and I'm going to put it in the middle. So now I've got pants, shirts, dresses. So again, whenever you want to do a sort in a pivot table that is not alphabetical, you have to drag the fields manually and sort them that way. Now I'm going to take the date filter off, so I'm going to remove the check mark because I just want to see all of the data displayed. So here's what my pivot table looks like without any date filter. But if I wanted to change that and put the quantity in as a filter, I could do that. So right now I'm seeing all the quantity, but if I click the downy pointy arrow, I can choose one particular quantity, like number 36, and then click OK. So now I'm just seeing the dresses that were purchased by using quantity as a filter. At any time you want to change any parts of the pivot table, you can come over to the pivot table organizer on the side, and you can remove the check marks, take it down so you just have the work area, and then you can start again. So maybe you want to see the description, the category, and the price this time. So now we've got the description of each clothing item, the category they were in, and then the price. And then if I want to filter by purchaser, I can put that under filter. I'm seeing everybody. I can click the downy pointy arrow and select out one particular purchaser. So that's Brooklyn. I got t-shirt dresses from them. Sum of the price was $753.42. That is the beginning of pivot tables.